Hello everybody, I'm Dr. Kirsten Hunter, clinical psychologist of 24 years now, and I'm going to talk about what is forgiveness after all. I like to talk about different psychology areas and just a quick chat, really. Psych in the car, we're in a car, I'm a psych, I don't know. Anyway, what is forgiveness anyway? A lot of people talk about forgiveness, and in psychology we don't usually use that term. So if we think about it from a psych perspective, it really depends on if you're in the relationship or not, if you're having ongoing connection with that person or not. If you do not have that person in your world anymore, and there's been something happen that's very harmful to you, then from a psychological perspective, forgiveness is actually a point of acceptance. When people have something very difficult, traumatic happen to them, and they don't have a point of acceptance, they continue to be harmed by that more than if they do get to a point of acceptance. And they continue to basically bang their head and protest and say, how could that be? That's not okay. And it uses up a lot of their energy, which is very understandable response when there's trauma, of course, or something harmful happened to them. So acceptance, and a lot of people have said to me, don't use that word acceptance on me, and they get quite upset about that word. I understand that. But acceptance actually means that you are not condoning, you're not saying it's okay what's happened, not by any stretch at all, but you are making room in your head to understand that that's the truth, that's the reality, that's that other person's behavior. They are all the circumstantial events that have happened that have brought you to that point. And it's basically accepting that that's part of your story, and it's not okay at all, but it is what it is, really. And the process of acceptance is grief. So by definition, grief is the process of acceptance. So, it's all interconnected. And grief is an ongoing process. It doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes a lot of digestion, and maybe there's just degrees of acceptance. Maybe we don't fully get there. So, if the person's not in your world, forgiveness would be defined as capacity to accept that this has happened, but not condone, which is hard. If the person is in your world, it's quite interesting. A lot of people sort of suggest that if you've got good character, then you just forgive people and move on. And it's not that simple, of course, because if someone's doing you harm and you say, yep, I forgive you, let's move on, but that person hasn't fully owned it, and it's not their intention to change their behaviours, and that harm repeats and repeats and repeats, then, by definition, you forgiving them basically is saying, I'll give you a free pass, I'll roll over and you do it again. It's not a good thing. So if the person's in your life, I would argue that forgiveness is actually about boundaries, and it's about ensuring that you find a way to communicate in a healthy, calm, constructive way, hopefully. Big bird just flew past. And checking that their intention is to address that issue, checking that they are mindful that they have had an impact on you and they own that, and that they work towards addressing those issues. So as long as the intention and the attitude and the effort is positive, then I think forgiveness is a great thing. Otherwise, I think you've got a problem that you need to address. Otherwise, it's going to keep repeating, obviously, and that's not okay. Sometimes people will say, oh, sorry. Oh my gosh. We could talk about bad apologies. Some bad apologies, I'm sorry that you feel that way. I'm sorry that I upset you. A good apology is, these are my actions, this is the impact it had on you, and I own it, and I'm sorry. So, while we're at it. So if the person says, yeah, I did that, sorry about that, but then they continue to repeat that behaviour, not a good thing. So obviously you have to be in a somewhat healthy relationship to be able to put issues on the table. You might have a workplace and it's not a healthy environment. You might have people who aren't great personalities, who enjoy the power struggle, or they don't have a conscience, or it can be complicated. So forgiveness is not simple. The concept of forgive and forget is utterly stupid. because it would mean that you basically have a head injury and you're going to forget something because you can't forget something. Yeah, so there you go, everybody. Psychological perspective on forgiveness. If you want to catch me online, my website, KirstenHunterAuthor.com, and Facebook and Instagram, Kirsten Hunter Author. Thanks so much.